So today we're recording a video podcast for My Online Schooling, which means that if you're listening to the audio version right now, there's the option to switch across to the YouTube channel and watch it instead. There's a link in the show notes. Or if you're watching this podcast episode and you wanted to switch across to the audio-only version, then there's the option to do that by switching to your favorite podcast player and just searching My Online Schooling. But today we are joined by two very special guests on this podcast episode. We have Ginger, who is currently a pupil at My Online Schooling, and they are joined by their mother, Jet, and the pair of them are coming to us from sunny Spain today. Hello, both of you. How are you today?
Hi, good to see you. Good.
Jet, I wonder whether you can just tell us a little bit about your background. Just give us a breakdown of what your family looks like and tell us a little bit about Ginger as well.
Yes. We're a family. We live together here on a finca in Spain. Ginger's dad, me, and also my husband's mother. So I live with my mother-in-law, which is working out really great, and can't say anything else or anything bad about her or the living situation, because people will comment, "Do you live with your mother-in-law?" But it's going just fine, and we decided to do that when my husband's dad died. My mother-in-law would stay alone in Holland, and that was not an option for us, so we took her in. And we have a lot of space here, and it's just amazing how it all worked out. So yes, living in Spain, winters are colder than you think. When it's December and it's sunny outside, it can still be like 2 degrees. So people will comment like, "Hey, you're having a beautiful sunny day in Spain." No, we're freezing and we need to put the fire on inside the stove to keep warm. And so winters are a bit tough. You wouldn't expect that, but the summers, of course, are amazing. And it's always nice to invite guests or, go to the little beaches that nobody knows about, or the markets. So life here is amazing, but of course we also had to do with the COVID situation. And it created quite a crisis, of course, for many people. And for us, the economic situation was not so beautiful. Not looking so hoe zeg je dat?
Looking very well.
Not looking very well. So we had to make a decision to go and look for another school for Ginger. So we went online and found My Online Schooling, and we weren't aware of that way of schooling at first. So we took a good look, and we had a talk with Ginger. And of course, it was a bit sad in the beginning for all of us, but especially for her, because she's made friends and it was a good environment for her. But we had to look at other options, and we had took a call with My Online Schooling, and got all the information we needed, and we decided, let's go for it and just see how it works. If in a few months or by summer it doesn't work out, we can always look for more options. But after a few months of trying MOS, Ginger was saying to us, really honestly, I'm really happy at the school, and I've calmed down and more free time. And so that means also more time to spend time on hobbies. And we have friends of her over from her old school, so she still sees people from her old school.
So it sounds to me then like you've all moved across from Holland across to Spain. Is that right?
That's true. In 2019, and it was August when we moved here. So still very warm. And then also you had no idea how cold the winters could be. And we were in a different house then. So the first winter we were like, what did we do? It's freezing, and we're all like tight, and it was just a bit of not a setback, because you're diving into a new adventure and you can expect anything. And but then came summer, and we had some friends over from Holland, so the first summer was fine. But also COVID, Ginger had to do her school online as well then, which was maybe looking back a good practice for doing an online school now. It was not all new, so that was good. And of course we left our life in Holland behind, especially to start over again. You're 48, 49 we were then. Either now or never, we could sell our house, and decided to go. and build up our work here again, from scratch. My husband is a light and sound technician, and I worked in entertainment for over 20 years. So it's nice, a fresh start. But yeah, 2 years of COVID is not, it's affecting us as well, of course. So but now we have decided to start over just now, like as if those 2 years didn't happen. Yeah, you have to make a decision on that. So we're hopeful that the future will bring better days.
So Jet, talk me through what your initial thoughts and feelings were regarding an online school, because let's face it, an online school is a very different kind of concept to a traditional bricks and mortar kind of way of educating children. So tell me how you felt when you first came across this idea, this concept of education just being online only.
I think that like the first thing that I discovered when I discovered my online schooling, just by Googling it, was maybe the first or the second result. I was still convinced that it was homeschooling with a sort of system that would help you as a mom or dad that would do the teaching. And after I was like reading the website back and forth and checking like, oh, this really exists, it's an option. And especially because you expressed the wish to continue the English curriculum and not a Spanish school because the level is quite low, really. And then when we decided to give it a go, then I got more information even, like every day or weekly, the emails that you get or the newsletters that inform me as a mom, because I'm used to the Dutch schooling system, which is totally different than the English one. So that was something that I had to get used to. But you were already familiar with the English curriculum. So for you, it was not really new, just it was online and not an actual school. It's not that we were skeptical, it's just something that I didn't know exists. And we had many talks with Jin the weeks we had to bring the news to you that we had to change school. Yeah, there was a lot of information available at my online schooling. So there were no like unanswered questions. And we are very lucky that you are such a brilliant student and we don't ever have to sit with you like doing your homework, never really have to check. So I must say we are very lucky because I think if you have kids that are easily distracted or a bit bored, then it will be a bit harder. So yeah, I applaud you for that. Yeah, you do. She works hard. Yeah, they work hard.
Thank you for that, Jet. I'd love to switch across to Ginger now. Ginger, tell us about what your thoughts and feelings were regarding an online school. Is this a concept that was familiar to you and to your friends, or was this quite new to you as well?
It was quite new to me, as in like outside of COVID, because pretty much every school would like turn to online schooling because of the lockdown and everything. But then outside of that, I didn't know it existed, and I was a bit daunted by it. Just because you stay at home a lot, you don't have as much social, you don't have as much of a social life, really. But when I started, I was a bit surprised, really, by the sort of, you get a very strange sense of community being online, because you talk with other students in the chat a lot, and it's just, you can have a really good time if you engage. It was a bit daunting at first, but then when you get into it, it becomes really nice and familiar.
Ginger, tell me more about the friendships that you've created online, the children that you've created friendships with, I imagine, from different places around the world.
Yeah, we had some group chats that you kind of get into eventually with people by just looking up names and exchanging stuff during class. And during these groups, you kind of see people you would like to talk more with. So I have one friend who used to be in my art class, who I have quite constant contact with, and a few others in different classes who, like, when you're in class, when someone does really well, you're like, oh, good job. We have some inside jokes with specific classes, so that's really nice.
And Ginger, tell me some of the countries that your friends come from, the friends that you've met online.
Ooh, I know there is... the main people I talk to often are based in England, but I also know some people from Turkey, I believe, and I know a few people also that live in Spain, because it's like everyone's like, oh, why are you based at the start of the year? And then you find out some people also live in Spain, which is really nice to find out.
And Jet, tell me what it's like when you're talking to your friends and you explain to them that Ginger is at an online school. What's the reaction from your friends? Do they tend to find that it's a surprising way of educating children? Is it a new concept to them as well? Is it something that they kind of push back against and feel that, like, it's not the right way to educate children? I imagine that sometimes that could be a natural initial response from people.
Yeah, also because they don't know the concept. And once I start to explain, like the first sentences, they already start like, oh, I couldn't do that. Oh, no, I couldn't teach my kids. And then I'm saying, no, it's not like that. I'm not the teacher. And I just bring her cookies and tea. Sometimes, no. No, but they're sort of confused. It takes a little while to really explain how it actually works. And some people that have young kids, they would, they don't have a good feeling about it because they think their kids would like run away or stuff. And I say, no, the subjects are really engaging. And I hear Ginger laughing and coming downstairs with funny stories about something that happened in class, like a kid took over the lessons in a really funny way, like a presenter. So these things happen, and they're scared that their kids wouldn't have any social contacts because they're only doing an online school. But we really took care. Well, that's something we talked about with you, to see your old friends, invite them over here, keep these contacts warm, but also maybe sports or music lessons. And then we found some acting class that goes on in Palma in Mallorca. So Ginger goes there every week. And that's something that's really important to us, but you also really like the quiet of, the classroom is your room. And sometimes Ginger will sit here at the table just for some like diversity, but it's a very quiet way to learn. And if you're eager to learn, then it's a very, it's a good way to be in class. Really, and I think it would be great for more kids that are sensitive to noises or a bit anxious maybe, but also for people just live remotely. It's such a beautiful solution. And what I hear, I'm in contact with other parents as well through a WhatsApp group. So you can connect either through Facebook or through one of the teachers or someone at my online schooling that you're in contact with. And they'll give you the contacts of other parents. So you can ask them questions. How are your kids? How are they doing? Or when there's a little problem, you can ask each other like, hey, something happened with the lesson that doesn't go online or something, You can check with them. So that's a sort of support group, let's say that. And if I explain it to other parents or people that we know, they're always really interested. Because most of them, not everybody lives remote, but some do. And either you go to a Spanish school and the level is quite low, or a very expensive international school. And then there's another way, and that's online schooling.
And tell me about some of the hobbies and activities that Ginger's been able to partake in, given that they've been at an online school and not having that burden of having to commute to school every day and waste a lot of time, I imagine, in travel. What's Ginger been able to do as a result of this?
Last year, it was, of course, the first year that Ginger was at my online schooling. And we suddenly discovered that there actually is a lot of free time. So how do you fill that in? And how do you make sure like you're not bored or unhappy? So I suggested to do a vegetable garden next to the house. And we worked quite hard to fix that, but it was just too hot, so everything burned. We didn't have anything that succeeded, so we were a bit disappointed. But that's something that you could do with your free time. And we want to give it maybe a new chance this year to do a vegetable garden or a herb garden. We like to cycle a lot. There's a lot of nice villages and routes that you can do here, but you also do your daily bike rides on your own just to stay fit or have a nice breath outside of the house. And a lovely thing that one of the teachers at her former school suggested, who was also the mother of Ginger's friend, she's an art teacher, and she proposed to do 2 weekly get-together with the kids that want to do GCSEs in art. That's something that you do, and there you meet your friends, but also have a nice afternoon thinking and talking and working on art. So that's something that's quite amazing, I think. Yeah.
Very good. Ginger, tell us a little bit about mock exams. How do they work in an online environment?
I haven't done proper mocks yet, but when we do assessments and things, usually we do them outside of class, so you get set an assignment just like as if it's homework, except you do a test. And it's sometimes a bit hard to concentrate, but it does, like if you create the right environment for yourself, it does just feel like you're doing a normal test. It's nice that you sort of have a more quiet environment, like you won't have people whispering around you or people trying to cheat by looking at your work. So yeah, it's quite nice to just have a very quiet and calm environment when you're taking tests.
And Ginger, you mentioned that it's good that other people can't cheat by copying your work, but is there a temptation for you to cheat by just looking up something that you shouldn't be looking up?
I'll close my ears.
I think that would be for some people, but it's sort of a choice you can make where it's, do I want to use these assessments to actually get better at doing my work? Do I want to see how good I'm doing or not? So it's, technically you could cheat, but I think a lot of people who are responsible enough to do well at school will not cheat just because they want to know how they're doing. That's how I do it as well.
That's a very good approach to take. And Jet, I think you should be very proud of the approach there that Ginger is taking.
Yeah, we are.
And also, Jet, what advice would you give to someone who's looking at, well, maybe someone's investigating the whole idea of an online school? Maybe they've got a child who's currently at a bricks and mortar school, and they're wondering whether an online schooling environment is the right kind of thing for their child. They're not necessarily thinking about my online schooling, they're just thinking about online school in general. What advice would you give to someone who's in that situation right now?
Firstly, I would say go and check the website of My Online Schooling, because it's super clear. Everything that you need to know is there, and the frequently asked questions are very clear. But also their social media content is very clear as well. So if you scroll through their Instagram page, for example, you would find a lot of parents telling about their experiences. So yeah, the social media is how you say it? It's alive. I like it. I like the way they present themselves. So a lot of information can be found there. But also the Facebook page where the parents are at is very informative and honest. Sometimes, of course, things can go wrong a little bit with a teacher that's not showing up. Maybe that can happen at every school. But then there's a quick solution, and parents and teachers and the whole school team is on it. So I think there are less of these problems at online schools than at actual schools, because it's just like pick up and the taking and picking them up, where you see the teachers maybe, but I get a lot of information from My Online Schooling, so I always know what's going on, and I've never had real problems there or something, or heard of things that gone really wrong. So
this is really good to hear. Thank you, Jet. But what about if somebody's not necessarily thinking about My Online Schooling, they're just thinking about the whole concept of online schooling in general? What advice might you give to them?
Talk to their kids, really. And that's something that we did also, like Ginger, take a look at this website. What do you think? Look at the videos, look at the information that's there. What do you think? Well, I think that is also that's to do with age as well. I think if they're 10 plus, you can do that. But if they're younger, maybe not. But be honest with your kids and tell them about the situation or why you would choose for an online school, what your reasons are, and just be honest and have a good conversation with the kids. Or if you have any questions, just call the school, and they're really open to give you all the information you need. And I'm an ambassador also for My Online Schooling, so if parents want to call or reach out to me, that's also possible. And I have to do some social media outlets as well. So I've done some research for them about the rules in Spain, especially. We're a Dutch family living in Spain on an English school that's online, which is a bit complicated. What are the rules on that? I would say to any parent, check in your native country, and the country where you're living in, what are the rules, so that you are feeling secure about the choice you're going to make. And I think that's really important as well.
That's really good to hear, and thank you for that, Jet. Now, my last question, I'd love to understand what your plans are for the rest of today. It's currently 2 in the afternoon with you there in Spain. So tell me what your plans are later on in the day, how you plan to spend your downtime, Ginger, and Jet, what you'll be planning on doing later on today.
I'm finished with school for today, but I do have some assessments coming up, so I'm going to probably study for a bit for the afternoon, and then after that, probably just read for a while to calm down and get away from screens.
I like that. Get away from screens and get away from parents as well there, Ginger. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, look, we need to bring this to a close now, but I just want to say thank you so much for your time. It's really good to understand more about your lives. It's very good of you, very kind of you to open up your lives and share all of that with us and to talk us through your experience of transitioning from a bricks and mortar traditional kind of school into an online schooling environment. So thank you very much, both of you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.